call the meeting for the recessed town board, Town of Tustin meeting for June 23rd, 2020 to order. Pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 2.1, I don't know if Chris was going to be able to put this up. The town engineer, I did speak with Jim Crowley, and I reached out to Glenn Smith, consulting engineer, and this was to add one more engineer to the list of engineers that we're using. I know that Jane's using Delaware Engineering. We've used a couple others. I'm looking for one more to add to the people that we're using. I apologize because I did send everybody an email about 15 minutes ago of the one email that he sent me yesterday. But there is a schedule to it, and all I'm doing is looking to get authorization to add him to the list of engineers that we use for the town. One of the projects we got coming up is the highway project for the crosswalk down on Main Street. He's out of Monticello, 533 Broadway out of Monticello. One of the reasons I went with him, I do not know him personally, but I asked Jim Crowley for a list of people that we could use, and Glenn was one of the people that.
Here.
Hi, Jane.
Jane. Jane, we just started with 2.1 for the town engineer.
Okay.
I'm looking to add a consulting engineer to the ones that we have right now. I did give a fee schedule. He's got a hourly rate of $165 an hour. Normally, he's giving us an hourly rate of $140 per hour. He did give us a fee schedule. It didn't show the reduction in the hourly rates, but somebody's got a lot of feedback.
I just had a truck go by.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I'm sitting outside. I've been in a hot kitchen all day.
Do we want to move forward with this, or would you like to read the email that I got out to you late and push this off into the July meeting?
I need to read it and see, because I can hardly hear you. I heard Jill perfectly. So I would say table it to July if anybody else has disagreement.
That's fine, because I did get it late, so I don't have an issue with that.
Okay.
Let me just... Is anybody else having a problem hearing me at all?
Yeah.
It's a little light, but not horrible.
Well, when you got close now, it sounded better.
Okay. 2.2, the town hall roof bid. Jane was able to get hold of Dasney regarding the grant that we were worried about losing if we did not accept the bid. She was able to get that extended, thereby allowing us to use that money. I'm not too sure. I know that we got a bid on it. I would like to rebid the roof project, and I would like to hear from the board. Does anybody have an issue if we rebid this project?
I think it's a good plan.
One of the things that we have to do is we have to change the bid. We can't put the exact same bid out. My thoughts on this were that we would include the First Amendment, which was the roof for the kitchen, and include that so that the whole roof is being done and it's not being pieced out, kitchen and the rest of the building. And that would be the change that we're going to do, and the reason that we want to rebid it that way. Anybody have any comments or questions regarding that?
Nope.
Okay, then I would make put forth a resolution to rescind the town hall roof bid awarded at the last meeting for the town of Tustin Town Board. I would make the motion. I would look for a second on the motion.
I'll second that.
I got a second by Jane. Jill,
I,
Randy,
Aye.
Bruce,
Aye.
Jane,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. Under 2.2, in rebidding this, I would like to move, in order to give enough time for this to get more contractors involved in it, that we rebid this and put an opening of the bid on the 20th of July, which is after our regular July meeting. Thereby, what it would do is it cause us to recess our meeting, which is on the 9th. Why do I have the 20th? Recess our meeting to the 22nd of July and award the bid at the 23rd of July, which would be 2 weeks after our regular town board meeting. That gives us a month to get it out there. The last time we got it out, it was a little bit rushed. I think that was part of the problem with getting people to come out and bid, because it is kind of a large project. This way we've given enough time and we can get some more contractors to get involved in this. Anybody have questions or comments on that? Is it a good idea, bad idea?
I think it's a good idea.
Okay, I would make a resolution then to put forth the town hall roof bid, incorporating in this new bid, item number 1 as an add-on and including that in the regular portion of the bid. The bids to be received on the 22nd of July and the award to be on the 23rd of July.
At 6:30?
And 6:30, the bids for opening, we can use, Bristol, 3 o'clock, fine? I see you're shaking your head. We'll do 3 o'clock on the 22nd.
What time?
3 o'clock on the 22nd?
3 PM. Okay.
That's for opening the bids, right?
Yeah, usually that's just Crystal's office will open the bids. And then that'll give us a chance that evening, to go over them, the 23rd to go over them and award a bid on the 23rd. So I've got that in the form of a motion to rebid. A second on the motion?
I'll second it.
A second by Jane. Bruce,
Aye.
Jill,
I,
Randy,
Aye.
Jane,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. 2.3, the town building reference the office doors. We'd spoken at the last meeting on this, about changing the door upstairs and the door downstairs. I know Crystal had gone out and I'd asked her to get some prices on them. And it looks like with the install, they are special order doors. Anywhere from $1,000, $1,200 a piece. And this is allowing us to open up the town hall and keep the 2 offices separate. There'll be Dutch doors with the counter on the top of it. Does anybody have any questions about those at all? What I'm looking to do is to accept a motion to authorize the supervisor to accept quotes on the doors, not to exceed $3,000. I don't think it will. I think it's going to be in the 2,000 to 2,300. And I believe we've got somebody that's going to put the doors up for us without charge. So that'll keep the price
All
down.
right, I'll
as
make
long
that,
as we can
I'll
do it.
make that motion to have the supervisor accept bids for the doors. Not to exceed 3,000.
Not to exceed 3,000. A second?
second,
I got a second by Jane. Bruce,
Aye.
Jill,
I,
Randy,
Aye.
Jane,
Aye.
and I'm an aye.
Who's
Excuse me.
installing them?
I'm sorry.
Who's installing them?
I think Dave is going to install them, Dave Casey. He's the one that did the other one for us. He's been doing the measurements and finding out what we're going to need, how they're going to open. 2.4 4 is set a public hearing for July. We've got the 14th. Am I in the right? I was in the wrong month. I apologize. So on the motion for the town hall roof bid, that would be an opening on the 20th. And the 21st would be the recessed meeting, which is a week after our regular board meeting, which gives us a month. I was looking at June.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
No, that wouldn't work. So that, I think that still gives us 1 month's time period.
Yeah.
Because on the 27th, we have a comp plan, and the 28th.
All right.
So I think we should be good on the 20th and the 21st of July. So the 20th would be the opening at 3 p.m. The 21st would be the recess meeting in order to award the bid.
Okay.
Which 2.4 set a public hearing for July 14th for local law to amend chapter 115 of the town code entitled animals. This came about as Brandy was trying to do the flyer. There was some verbiage in there that it wasn't clear. So we went to the attorney. We've got that cleared up. And also we've added in there a thing about picking up after your dogs. So there's two parts in it. One of the first parts is running at large unless the dog is restrained by an adequate leash or unless it is accompanied by its owner or reasonable person and under the full control of such owner or person, and they put it on private property. So that takes care of that one, Brandy, that you had the issue with in the beginning.
Yeah,
where it
I mean,
said, "Oh,
yeah, I read your rewrite and it's a little difficult to understand. Wish it was a little simpler, but it does make sense if you read it over and over again.
Well,
So, I mean, again,
actually,
I'm not complaining, but just for the common person, it's a little heavy.
yeah, I think, and that's what this is. This is an actual rewrite of that law that you
Right.
were asking about. What I've gotten is, I'm going to read through it because it's a little bit long, but in order to set the public hearing, we can set that for the next meeting and we can get that cleared up as far as enforcement goes. So it would be local law number 2 of 2020, a local law to amend chapter 115 of the town code entitled Animals, be it enacted by the town board of the town of Tustin, county of Sullivan, state of New York as follows. Section 1, title and applicability. Local law shall be referred to as the local law amending chapter 115 of the town code. Section 2, the purpose and intent. The town board of the town of Tustin has determined that dog excrement that is not disposed of by the dog's owner presents a safety and public health hazard to the residents and visitors to the town, and that a penalty shall be imposed for dog owners who do not remove and properly dispose of their pet's feces. The town board also determined that the owner of any dog that is seized pursuant to section 115-6 of the town code shall pay an impoundment fee to redeem the dog. Chapter 115 of the town of Tustin code entitled Animals is hereby amended as follows.
Okay, I got in.
115-5 entitled Restrictions shall be deleted and replaced with the following. Restrictions and requirements. A, it shall be unlawful for any owner of any dog in the town to permit or allow such dog to, 1,
This you're
run at
going
large
into
unless
the
the
browser?
dog is restrained by an adequate leash, or unless it is accompanied by its owner or a responsible person and under full control of such owner or persons on private property, with consent of the property owner or licensee. For the purposes of this article, a dog or dogs hunting in the company of a hunter or hunters shall be considered as accompanied by their owner. 2, engage in habitual loud howling, barking, crying, or whining, or conduct itself in such a manner so as to unreasonably and habitually disturb the comfort or repose of any person other than the owner of such dog. Uproot, dig, or otherwise damage any vegetable lawns, flowers, garden beds, or other property without the consent or approval of the owner thereof. Chase, jump upon, or otherwise harass any person in such a manner as to reasonably cause intimidation or fear, or to put such person in reasonable apprehension of bodily harm or injury. 5, habitually chase, run alongside of, or bark in a motor vehicle, motorcycle, or bicycles while on a public street, highway, or place, or upon private property without the consent or approval of the owner of such property. Create a nuisance by defecating, urinating, or digging on public property, on a private property without the consent or approval of the owner of such property. 7, if a female dog when in heat be off the owner's premise unrestrained by a leash. Subsection B, the owners of the dog in the town shall comply with the following. 1, any person who owns or controls a dog must immediately remove any feces left by that dog in any sidewalk, gutter, street, or other public area and dispose of it in a sanitary method. Any person who owns or controls a dog must immediately remove any feces left by that dog in any private property when the property owner has not given consent for the feces to remain on the property. The foregoing paragraphs 1 and 2 should not apply to a guide dog accompanying any blind person. Section 115.6, entitled Seizure of Dogs, is amended to insert the following new subparagraphs. D, the owner of any dog that is seized may redeem the dog within 5 days of the seizure of the dog by paying to the town clerk the impoundment fee set by the town board and presenting a receipt for payment of the fee to the shelter that is harboring the dog. And E, any dog that is not redeemed within 5 days shall forfeit all title to the dog, and the dog shall be made available for adoption at the discretion of the shelter. Section 115-7, entitled Penalties for Offenses, shall be amended as follows. Subparagraph B1 shall be replaced to read first offense no more than $100 by inserting a new subparagraph C as follows. Creating a nuisance by failing to remove feces per section 115.5 sub B sub 1 and 115.5 B sub 2. Subparagraph C shall be relettered in subparagraph D. Section 115-10, entitled Licensing Requirements and Procedures, shall be amended by adding the following sentence to the end of subparagraphs A, 5A. The town board may also set a monthly late fee by resolution. The separability for section 3, if any part or provision of the local law or the application thereof to any person or circumstance by adjudicated and valid by any court or competent jurisdiction, such judgment shall be confined in its operation to the part or provision of application directly involved in the controversy in which such judgment shall have been rendered. It shall not affect or impair the validity of the remainder of this local law or the application thereof to other persons or circumstances. And the town board of the town of Tustin hereby declares that it would have passed this local law or the remainder thereof had such invalid application or invalid provision been apparent. Section 4 is repeal all ordinances, local laws, and parts thereof inconsistent with this local law are hereby repealed. Section 5, the effective date shall take effect immediately upon filing in the office of the New York State Secretary of State in accordance with Section 27 of the Municipal Home Rule Law.
Ben?
Yes.
Ben?
Yes.
I could hardly hear any of that, but if I could get a copy of that, the only thing I got was one little paragraph at the beginning. I didn't have any of that other stuff to work with or put in the flyer. I have a 2-sentence, the first 2 sentences, that's it. And I didn't hear anything you just said. So I'm sorry, I'm hard of hearing and I just couldn't
No,
hear.
that's okay. I'm probably having some normal issue with this. Let me see if I can change my speaker at all.
I'm
And
not
yes,
saying you should read it again. Don't read it
Oh, no.
again. I'm just asking, can you send it to me? I mean, in an email, just so I can
No,
put it in the flyer?
It has to be put on your desk anyway. The next thing that I'm doing is a resolution introducing the law and providing for a public hearing. And as part of that, this does have to get on your desk for,
Okay.
yes.
Do you want the whole thing in the flyer?
No.
Oh.
This is correcting what Nico wanted corrected and what the board had also put forth. So yes, that's what
But
we're
I
doing.
guess it would be wise to send us all a copy. It was difficult to
Hey,
hear. And
Okay,
yeah, that way we will be prepared for the public hearing.
well, here comes a resolution. Be it
Okay,
resolved that an introductory local law titled A Local Law to Amend Chapter 115 of the Town Code entitled Animals be and hereby is introduced before the Town Board of the Town of Tustin, County of Sullivan, State of New York. It is further resolved that a proposed local law is an unlisted action under SECRA, and Part 1 of the short form environmental assessment form has been prepared. It is further resolved that copies of the aforesaid proposal local law be laid upon the desk of each town board member, and it be further resolved that the proposed local law is hereby referred to the Sullivan County Division of Planning, Community Development, and Real Property for review pursuant to General Municipal Law 239. It is further resolved that the town board shall hold a public hearing on said proposed local law at the Tustin Community Hall, 210 Bridge Street, Narrowsburg, New York, at 6:30 p.m. on July 14th, 2020, or by Zoom. And it is further resolved that the town clerk shall publish or cause to be published a public notice in the official newspaper of the town of Tustin no later than 10 days prior thereto. Okay, everybody get
Okay.
that one okay? Okay. I will make the motion a second.
Second,
Brandy's on a second. Bruce,
Aye.
Jill,
Yes, aye.
Brandy,
aye.
Jane,
Aye.
and I'm an aye.
And just one other thing, we're gonna put the leash law, the picking up the poop part, and licensing information, how they should and how they can get their dog licensed with the rabies certificate. So that was the third part.
Okay. I think, and getting this law corrected will be a good part to helping clean up
Oh, yeah.
some of that.
Yeah.
It's all designed and ready to go. I'm just waiting for, put in the wording, that's all.
And if it's, have it posted on the website and put that information on the flyer, which of course you do. So, yeah, so that people can go and really read what the law is. Yeah.
2.5, our regular agenda workshop meeting on July 7th.
Okay.
Do
I'm
we
just
feel
a
that
little
we-
confused because mine just says 2.4 about that, and there was nothing on the July 14th thing. So,
Okay.
all right. So, okay.
There is going to be one or two more that gets added into here in the end that I did not get to Crystal in time. So, how does the board feel as far as our July 7th meeting? Do we feel we have enough reason for that, or should that be canceled until our regular meeting?
I think we can cancel it. As long as we have the documentation for the meeting ahead of time.
Right. Brandy?
Yes.
Questions, comments? Jill and Bruce?
I'm
No,
fine with it.
Okay. So we'll cancel that meeting. 2.6, Friday on Main Street, Jane?
Yes, I got an email from Aaron Hicklin, I guess is his name, of One Grand Bookstore. And he was just asking me if there was anything that he would have to do to get permission. They're trying to organize First Fridays, I think just for the summer, or maybe not First Fridays, just Fridays in this, maybe, I can't get the email up because it's failing. But anyway, it's related to just having people, inviting the public to come and see artwork and the bookstore and maybe hear literary things, but it's not closing Main Street. He's just letting us know that there'll be an invitation going out to the public to invite the public to Main Street on Fridays in the summer.
The whole Main Street or his store?
No, all of Main Street. But it doesn't close, and he's just letting us know. I don't think.
It's just an informational that they're going to do this, and if we have
Yes, he
people
was
who wanna invite-
concerned if he had to make any applications or anything, but I said I would bring it up. I didn't think so, but I'd bring it up to the meeting.
I don't see any problems with it. Anybody else? I mean, we're not shutting down the Main Street or anything, so.
I think just that, people should, he should know this, and he probably does, to follow social distancing laws and wear masks and keep everybody safe. And that should be part of what he puts out.
Okay, I'll tell him that. That's fair enough. I can-
Let's not make this a hotspot.
Yep, okay.
2.7, which is the horse, which is one of the reasons we actually had the recess meeting. We were putting together how the horse was going to be sheltered, what kind of pad it was going to be on. That has kind of changed. I think right now, Brandy can correct me if I'm wrong, one of the biggest things we need to do is just work on the electricity for it.
I have a brief description if you want. I'll make it fast.
Absolutely, sure.
So this month, Scott Porter talked with Jim Crowley and Ben and Don and Impact Energy, Bioenergy over in Seattle, the manufacturer, about the following things. The horse is going to be delivered in September to go behind the town highway barn front building. That's on 97. It's behind that. No pad is needed, as he looked into all these things. We're kind of modeling it after the same unit, the horse, in Hudson, New York. Basically, they just put it on 2 railroad ties, and hopefully Don has 2 railroad ties. That would be great. And we can just place them there. When they come, they can put it on that. That way it lifts it off the ground. It's stable. No housing is necessary. Of course, in a perfect world, it would be great, but the first year at least, we could see Hudson not have housing over it. The winter was just fine, the same weather zone as ours. The people in Seattle have been contacted about our insulation needs, being that if it weren't housed, they're probably going to be doubling up on the rigid foil insulation inside. That's being constructed now. And again, Scott's kind of taking this and doing all the technical questions with all the powers that be, including Ben and Jim and Don. And so the electrical hookup is the only expense and thing that we need to do. There is an electric box in that building. It's not great. If Don wants to, upgrade that, that's going to be the highways, to do that. But we can basically hook into it and pay for our connection to the horse. We have $5,000 in our Tustin Energy Committee bank account, whatever, from grant money awarded by the DEC when we became Climate Smart Community certified. And so now we need to look for, as Ben said, look for electricians to do that hookup. There's a pole there, just has to run to the horse. It's not a big distance, but it's all yours, Ben.
Where'd he
That's all
go?
I got. Where'd Ben go?
He left us.
Lost Ben.
He got on the horse.
He rode away.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, Ben's muted and I don't see his face anymore, so.
Well, it sounds good, Brandy.
Okay, meeting adjourned. Joking.
Okay, well, I guess we'll just give Ben a couple more minutes. I have a couple of things. After that, is it, no, he'll be in though. It's board.
Jane, can you hear me?
I
Yes,
hear
we
you.
can hear you.
All right, hi guys. Ben, he will be right back in. I think the internet just kicked him out. He's trying to share his video and mute it. He's having an issue, but he'll be back in a minute.
Thank you.
Hey, Bruce, what state are you in?
North Carolina.
Nah, good for you.
We head back tomorrow.
Okay, I'll pass you on the road.
I'll
Where are
wave.
you going? Where are you going, Jane?
Southern Virginia.
Oh, la-ti-da. Safe travels.
Thank you, Crystal. I'm back. This will be good for our Monday meeting, Jane. Peter asked about our internet service, and now you can see how well it's working.
Yeah, I
I
can
can
tell you that.
Crystal now. Hey,
Thank you, Brandy. So what I'm looking for is an authorization for the supervisor to obtain quotes for electrical hookups at the horse. And like Brandy said, we're looking at 2 different ways, whether we want to put a separate meter pan or just run directly off the building. And we'll take a look inside and see if it needs some other work. But the meter pan, I'll speak with Brandy and Scott about that. That would allow them to have a better idea of how much electricity they're using.
Mhm.
That'll also come down to cost on how much it is to have the meter pan. But I would look for a resolution authorizing the supervisor to solicit quotes for the electrical hookup for the horse.
So move.
Second,
second.
I got a motion by Brandy, a second by Jill. Bruce?
Okay, yes, aye.
I'm an aye. Jill,
Hi.
Brandy,
Aye again.
and Jane.
Hi, and
Actually,
yourself.
Ben, who puts together the RFP? Like, what do you know the specs?
It won't be an RFP, it's just gonna be a request for a quote. It should be pretty simple. We'll go in and find out what we need for it as far as how big of a service it's gonna need to it.
Okay. And you can talk
Whether
to
we-
Jim about it and all.
I already talked to him today about that. And
All right,
that's,
great, great.
yeah, that's what came. This way it should move quick, and once we've got the resolution for this, we don't need to come back to the board. As long as we meet our procurement policy, we can actually start the work on it.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much.
Oh, great.
Yeah, that's, quotes sometimes are easier than bids, and so when we're not looking to spend
Mhm.
what it was as far as the original plans that we talked to, so we
Yeah.
can keep that moving. That's what I've got. Brandy, I know you would mention stuff about painting, or Jane wanted to speak about the building committee, or Jane had something to say about the building. Did
I
you want
guess,
to?
Brandy, do you want to go first or?
You know, I just wanted to say that for me, it's kind of an important decision because the comp plan does say to keep historic preservation in mind. And I think that, you know, it's a deco building, and I think we should be true to that. There's dental molding up top that could be featured, you know, with that blue color. But again, I think, look, I have a Bachelor in Fine Arts. This is what I do. I'm an artist. So I'm looking at it where I'd like to see the building kind of open up in terms of the color, lighten it up. If you do a dark blue next to a dark red, next to a dark gray roof, it's going to visually bring it back down in terms of expanding it. You would use contrasting colors. The blue is a nice color, but again, I would see it up at the dental molding, not at the entrance. And Ariel was brought in. This is Jill and Bruce are in the committee, the building committee. Jane and I were just brought into the conversation, as was Ariel and Elaine. And so anyway, all yours, Jane.
Well, I guess what's most important to me, I really didn't give it a whole lot of thought until we talked about historic preservation. And when I did the input from the surveys, I was quite impressed how many people did check off how one of the 4 important things that they would support is historic preservation of buildings. So I just think that, and I don't know enough, but there's a whole body of information out there. I would just say, maybe just look a little bit further and see the appropriate colors for that appropriate time. And that's important then, I think.
And I don't think we have to rush it.
Andy's idea of the accent color and having a darker color. I like that idea.
I think that dental molding is too close to the roof to be a dark color. Is it not? Because then it's going to blend right into the roof.
Yeah, well, that's the whole point, would be having it integrate into the roof color. So these colors work together with each other. And that way
You
it's not.
want it as an accent?
Yeah, it's
I
an
think what we
accent.
need to do is get your committee together and actually have this conversation. You guys all sit down and pick a color. I don't think you need a board resolution to do it. I think you've got everything that you need. You've got a degree in art. You've got 2 building committees. You've got Jane.
Hmm. No, no.
Crystal. Yeah, just you guys.
Bruce is
We'll
being quiet.
we'll just keep figuring it out. There should be no rush to try to get this done, except that part of the building's got a big blob of paint on it.
So that's okay. All things will get done and changed. It's in the next, whether it's that color or another color, just, it's a wait till they see it in about 2 months. When the roof is sitting in the parking lot.
Are we moving on? Because I have something else.
Okay,
You and I discussed this and I just don't remember exactly the answer. I had a long conversation with one of our residents regarding Cackletown Road, the pond at the end of Cackletown Road. And I know that there's a question of who owns some of the culverts down there. And I just wondered, where are we in that process of finding that information?
I honestly don't know the good answer for that.
Okay,
I
maybe that's
know-
why I couldn't answer it.
Yeah, I don't think, I was, supposed to get some survey maps and stuff from Bob Ullman, and he did a 180 on that. Supposedly at the advice of his attorney. I have no idea why. It was, so I mean, it's something, I don't think we're gonna be able to do it with the town highway maps, but I think maybe we could find some of the adjacent property owners and find out where some pins are, and maybe we could just get a rough idea before we go spending money on the survey.
Yeah, I'd hate to have to.
And
spend-
Dane know anything about this?
He might. I know that's, Jane had mentioned that today.
Can you ask Kenny, Jane?
I did, and he said he doesn't know for sure. It's still up in the air with him. He doesn't know. You know, you don't have to pay for somebody to do a survey. It might be listed on deeds, which are public record.
Right, and then you can find the pins and you do your measurements from there.
Maybe I could, is it inappropriate? Tell me, I don't know, to ask the inquiring person to just go to Monticello and check that out?
We could probably do that at the town hall, because we should
Okay.
have deeds at the town hall, which if, you know, we could get Kenny to pull them one night
All right,
when nobody's around, and then we could probably take a look at them that way.
okay, okay. All right, I think that's the first step, and then the rest of the discussion can be held, but that's the first step,
Okay.
okay?
Any other board discussion or anything I've missed that we talked about today?
No, but on the agenda, it said the June 23rd, which is now the 20th, correct?
Yes. 20th.
Yes, today is, yes, today is the 23rd, but our next regular meeting is going to be July 14th.
Okay, yeah, okay, I missed that. Okay. All right.
Let me just make sure that that's all we've got. Crystal, did I miss anything?
Look at Crystal's frozen in.
Oh, she's frozen.
Freezing. I'm gonna freeze left and right because my internet. I'm actually using the internet off the cell phone. I don't think
We
there's
should
anything else.
screenshot that. Oh, I should have
I'm not sure which
screenshotted.
picture. The one of me yawning because that's kind of entertaining.
I believe we've covered everything, that the roof bid, the office doors, the public hearing.
No practice meeting?
No, I don't think we've got enough to warrant coming back in. The next meeting, we're still gonna stay with Zoom. What's the board's feeling on that?
I think
Brandy,
so.
Yes.
Yeah. Brandy, for the
What-
July meeting?
You mean
Steve?
in person or in Zoom?
Yeah, what's your preference for that?
Zoom, please. And
Yeah,
now your
that's fine.
face is on Crystal's face, so just so you know, there's Ben and Crystal is you. No,
Okay.
That's on
This is why I-
that's only on your screen, not on mine. That's strange.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just change
This-
Ben.
This is why I usually do this from the town hall. But, okay, so our next meeting for the 14th will be on Zoom. Public comment? Crystal, are you gonna be able to enter anybody if they've got public comment, or is your Wi-Fi a little funky on me? She's frozen.
No, I have star. I'm not frozen. You might not be able to see me, but I can speak. I can hear you.
We
Okay.
see you, but you're frozen.
Star.
Start.
I'm trying to unmute everyone. Give me one sec. I'm asking her to unmute. I don't know if Star wants to unmute.
Well, she wants to say something.
I'm not seeing anything.
Okay.
There she goes.
Okay, Star, did you have a comment?
I do, yes.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, you're fine.
Because it just said on my screen that I couldn't unmute myself because my host had muted me. So
Yes,
anyway,
she
you
got
can hear
you.
me? That's fine.
Yes.
I have two things I want to mention. Jill's comment about the First Fridays that Aaron Hinckley would like to do on Main Street. She mentioned that as long as social distancing and other COVID precautions are being followed. I was down past the town office the other day, and there were people in there, town employees and someone else, I couldn't see who, but they had no masks on, they weren't social distancing, and I think is that going to be the policy, that people in the town hall don't have to follow the masking and social distancing?
It's not. Right now, Star, the town hall is closed. I sent an email out at the end of March. There's only 5 people that are supposed to be in the town hall. It's the bookkeeper, the town clerk, myself, the code enforcement officer, and the clerk for the code enforcement officer. You'll see that there's been a separate door that's been put up now, so that people can still get to the offices now. Before they couldn't at all without making an appointment and having somebody come outside. So one of the things that we've got now is a door with a pass-through. We're looking to the point where we can finally open up a little bit more, which will be, especially for the colder weather when it comes, being able to actually come inside, but still the offices will be closed with a different type of door so people can still come inside. But, you know, by an email, the office is still closed. So the people that are in there will practice social distancing the best they can. It is up to the people that are in there. But if we do have somebody come in, they do have masks that are available to them. We have had people come in, the Board of Assessment Review, where that board wanted to hold its meeting in order to do some lookup of some tax maps and stuff. That was held down in the community hall. So the community hall that's been converted to the point where the tax maps and people are able to go down and do things there. So not necessarily what you see when you go by, but the town hall still technically is closed, except for those 5 people. That doesn't mean we don't get people that do come in, where the judges come in. Some of the board members do come in. So I don't know if that answers your question or not.
Well, it doesn't in a way, it does in one way and it doesn't, but so in other words, the people that are authorized to be in there can make the decision whether or not they're going to use masks and the social distancing?
Well, we try to social distance with where the desks are, 6 feet from each other. You know,
And that's the masks as well?
that becomes a preference when they're in there with each other.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know. That's all I wanted to know. The only other thing I wanted to ask was, there's been a lot of problem for me with the audio, and I heard other people saying the audio was not good for them. I kept getting something popping up on the screen saying that your internet connection is weak. And I don't know if
Okay.
anybody.
Internet connection, Star.
Okay, so that's just me?
That
It's
would be
just my
yours.
internet? Okay,
I had that problem here last night and I went and hardwired myself in when I was on another Zoom meeting because my internet connection, and then that worked out fine.
Star, if you have a weak internet connection, I've been trying to encourage a few people to dial in on their landline. This way they can listen in, and there's a way to raise your hand on that as well. If you need help with that, I'd be happy to help you with that.
okay, I also initially could not get in on the Zoom meeting, and I tried using my phone, and I got a recording or something saying that the number was not valid that I had called.
So this evening, I accidentally locked the meeting for about 2 minutes, and then I quickly unlocked it. I know Wanda had an issue and Jane as well. So as soon as I unlocked it, that's why you were able to get in. That was my fault, and I do apologize for that.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Any other comment, either board or public? I would make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Thank you.
Good night, all.
Thank you.
Thank you.